Hey everybody, it's Innovision, and SteamOS 3.8.4 beta just dropped. Like the previous beta versions we've discussed over the last several weeks, this version of SteamOS brings in a ton of bug fixes for non-Steam Deck hardware. In today's video, I'll show you how far along SteamOS has come on each of these gaming handhelds. We've got the Legion Go 2, the ROG Ally, and the original Legion Go. Now these handhelds are at various levels of completion, so I'll be sharing what's working and what's not working and where you might still need a third-party plugin. And more importantly, I'm going to show you gameplay footage of Pragmata running on all three of these handhelds and the optimized settings that I'm using. Stick around, because you don't want to miss any of it. All right, so we've got our Legion Go 2 here with the Z2 Extreme APU, and we've already got the SteamOS 3.8.4 beta installed. Let's take a quick look at the release notes. In general, this looks very similar to the release notes we got for 3.8.2 and 3.8.3. The things that are new in 3.8.4 at the very top here, so most of it is around fixes for variable refresh rate and the experimental nested desktop mode, as well as some security updates, and it looks like more support for Steam Machine hardware. They've got game-specific fixes here. They've made some improvements for audio under HDMI. We've got some firmware updates for Steam Deck hardware, and then this is where things get interesting for Legion Go and Legion Go 2 owners. This pretty much looks very similar to what we saw for 3.8.2 and 3. Now, one question that might be on everybody's mind is how are things going with the CPU heating issue that we've been seeing in the beta builds? I'm still noticing it here with 3.8.4. I still seem to hear my fans running all the time, and you can see right now our temperature is 63 degrees and we're not even doing anything right now. We're just, browsing the software version and all these version numbers. Historically, my temperature would be at like 52 to 54 here. So I don't know what's going on. I'm not seeing it spike up to 71 degrees, which I saw on the 3.8.2 and 3 builds. As we're affecting the animation here, my temperature starts to go down. I don't know why. It seems like whenever we're idling, that's when things tend to go wrong. So I've changed my Proton compatibility to Proton 11 beta because it brings in a bunch of fixes for DirectX 12 games. You can see here for the game Pragmata, I've got Proton set to this 11 beta. And what's neat about Proton 11 is that it brings in a lot of enhancements for DirectX 12 games. Now, I haven't done a full performance analysis like the other ones I put on the channel, but I've just been playing this game and just trying to get a feel for how well it plays. So at this point, I've got the game running with pretty nice visual fidelity. I'm just going to share my configuration here. So we're running borderless windowed, full resolution of the Legion Go display. We've got FSR1, even though it supports FSR3. I've noticed that FSR1 looks better and performs better for some reason. I've got it set to the quality FSR setting, and I've got frame gen enabled. And I'm able to use high to medium settings pretty much for all the values here. And I've already allocated 8 gigs of VRAM in the Legion Go 2 BIOS. And you can see we've got HDR enabled for this game. The game runs fairly well. I'm able to maintain close to 60 frames a second.
Still had someone left after all.
And for those of you who may have missed it in an earlier video, we do have native RGB lighting control. If you go under customization, there's this option, enable joystick lights. You can pick from various presets and adjust the brightness. I also noticed that the native screen brightness isn't there yet, so I'm still using the workaround. And in general, once it is working, we should see the option to enable and disable HDR. Also, it's worth sharing, these are the settings I'm using for color vibrance and color temperature. I noticed that the SDR content served on HDR display looked kind of pale, and so with these settings, I've actually noticed an improvement in terms of how the colors look. They pop a little bit more. All right, let's take a look at SteamOS 3.8.4 on our OG Legion Go. So we're going to scroll all the way down here, and you can see we're SteamOS Hollow 3.8.4. And what's truly amazing here is we no longer need third-party plugins to be able to use the capabilities of our Legion Go. For example, this time last year, we used to have to install Simple Decky TDP in order to have TDP profiles and adjust the TDP settings. Well, look at this. Now we've got low power, balance, and performance, as well as custom on the Legion Go hardware. And more importantly, we no longer need the Legion Go remapper to adjust our RGB lights on our controller. So if you go under customization, there's this enable joystick lights here, and you can pick through different patterns. You can go with a solid color. You can adjust the color and the brightness. So look how far this software has come in a year. Now let's take a look at Pragmata running on the OG Legion Go. I just want to show that we're using Proton 11, using the Force specific Proton version here. Again, there's supposed to be enhancements for DirectX 12 games. And we're going to start out using the same settings that we used on our Legion Go 2, just so we can make, from a bird's eye view, a quick comparison in terms of performance. So remember, on the Legion Go 2, we were seeing, pretty close to 60 frames a second, high 50 frames per second. We were rendering the game at the full resolution of the Legion Go 2 display at 1920 by 1200. And so we're going to use the same rendering settings here on the OG Legion Go. But then I'll show you how to optimize the performance further. All right, so if we go in graphics here, we're running with the windowed display mode, 1920 by 1200. All other settings are the same here. Now, mind you, the Legion Go has less memory than the Legion Go 2, and so you wouldn't want to use settings like this over time because it'll make the game start to run janky and possibly even crash as it runs out of memory. But this is just for demonstration purposes, so we can make a performance comparison between the Z1 Extreme APU and the Z2 Extreme APU. You see here, the game's pretty choppy. I'm not even going to go into a battle at this point, but we're hovering around 30 frames a second. But let's take a look at some better performance settings for the Legion Go. So we're going to want to adjust the display resolution to 1280 by 800. All right. And we're still running windowed. All the other settings will stay the same. And so this next step is important here. So we're rendering the game at 1280 by 800, which is 1/4 of the full display resolution of the Legion Go. For some reason it didn't pick up the display resolution change, but see, we're at 1280 by 800, and once we pick the right resolution, it scales the image up 2x in each dimension. And look at that, it looks pretty decent. And we're now getting about 45 frames per second. The game's definitely playable now. And this can be further optimized. We're using too much memory at this point in time. Let's step into battle for a second and see how it looks. All right, let's take a look at the latest SteamOS beta running on the ROG Ally with the Z1 Extreme APU. We've got SteamOS Hollow 3.8.4. So I just want to call out, we don't need simple decky TDP anymore, but we don't get a custom TDP profile. We've got low, balanced, and performance. So if you want custom, you're going to likely need to use a third-party plugin like simple decky TDP. I'm very happy with the balance and the performance preset on this device. I don't see a need for another plugin, at least for my use cases. So if we take a look at our customization options here, unfortunately, we don't see one for RGB lighting on the ROG Ally. So that means that we're still having to use a third-party plugin, and for that, I'm using HueSync. Other than that, all the core functionality is working right out of the box, which is amazing. This time last year, we didn't have different TDP profiles. Let's take a look at Pragmata running on the ROG Ally. So just like I configured the Legion Go devices, we're using Proton 11 here. Now for this console, I like to render the game at 720p and then use upscaling to achieve the 1080p resolution of the display. Also worth noting, I'm using the balanced TDP settings. So we're using the windowed display mode with 720p. We've got most of these settings set to high or medium. We can actually drop this down to quality. That way we'll be consistent with how we've been benchmarking on the other devices. And you can see here we're getting somewhere between the Legion Go and Legion Go 2 in terms of performance, but closer towards Legion Go performance, which makes sense. Let's go check out a battle.
I'll see if I can find an opening. No?
Oh, that's the big guy.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's pull this bounce right off. Oh, crap. Keep it shooting to me.
I don't know about you, but I can't wait to sink more time into Pragmata. The game looks beautiful, the gameplay is quick and easy to pick up. What other games is everyone else out there playing on your favorite handheld? Drop a comment and let me know what handheld you're playing on. I'd love to know more about the devices everyone's using. You know, typically I cover a lot of Legion Go hardware because those are some of my favorites. But with the prices of handhelds going crazy these days, I'm considering branching out to other handhelds. This does not mean I'm not going to still show love for Legion Go and Legion Go 2 devices. My real goal here is to diversify my handheld portfolio and the type of content that I'm going to be creating in the coming years. In other news, I finally got on the waiting list to pick up a Steam controller. So I don't know when I'll be able to order it, but I'm glad that they're implementing this new queuing system. We saw this back on the Steam Deck when it first launched. I can't wait to get the controller and be testing it firsthand. Another interesting thing I learned today is that Lenovo is branching off into the retro handheld gaming space, the ones that are powered by ARM chips. A couple models have went up for sale on AliExpress. I'll see if I can throw some pictures up here to show everyone. It's interesting to see how bad this memory shortage is affecting companies, and more importantly, how it's affecting us consumers and gamers. We're at the tail end of this, and we're the ones that are really getting hit hard with it. Let me know what you all think. Until next time, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. That way you don't miss all the amazing tech, toys, and gaming tips we've got coming down the pipeline.